Alright, so we've got a perfect opportunity to kind of cover some best practices for surf fishing on a windy day. And as you can see, if I lift up my line here, you see that bow in my line. It's just, I can't really twitch my lure like I'd like to if I want to twitch it, because there's so much slack caused by the wind. So one of the things I like to do, we'll go through a whole cast here. So I'm out here, and I'm gonna cast as normal, but I'm gonna make sure as soon as my lure enters the water, and likely right before it enters actually, I'm gonna flip my bail and lower my rod tip down almost into the water, because I want to keep my line on the water and I want the water to catch my line rather than the wind to catch it. When the water catches it, it sits down. So just like this, try to cast low. I'm already flipping. I flipped right before, and I've got my line, and once I see my line dip all the way into that water, there is no longer any portion of it above the water. I know it's taut as I continue to reel. And now I can't do my typical twitches up here, because if I do that, it still brings the bow back. But if I bring my line back in the water, I can do just quick low twitches if I wanted to. But it definitely helps a lot to keep that rod tip low when you're trying to fish in windy conditions. So you guys can really see that bow in the line, even though, I mean, I'm still really low. So the lower the better here. And I know you don't want your lure just dragging on the bottom. I mean, in some cases you do, but I try to more so bounce it, let it hit the bottom and then push it upwards. That's tough to do when it's super windy like this, because maybe you can do one every once in a while and bring it down. So if you do want to get that really good twitch in there, even in windy conditions, and you want to twitch it from the bottom rather than just sideways like this, my best advice for you is to get your line nice and low. Make sure you have that really good taut line, and once you've got it taut, you're going to be able to do one really good twitch every once in a while. So you've got it taut. Okay, you got your twitch there. Bring it back down, make sure it's taut. You got one more like that. And then once it's taut again, you can bring it up, do whatever, double twitch, single twitch, whatever you want to do. But that's probably best practice. That'll keep you taut. And biggest thing is sensitivity and direction. You got to know where your lure is. And the only way to do that, especially with windy conditions, is just to feel it. Because there's going to be, even underneath the water, there's probably going to be a bow in your line. So keep that low. It's tough. It's not perfect, that's for sure. But you can see once the line sits down, it becomes much tighter and much more sensitive, and I can feel where my lure is. And that's all I need to know to catch a fish. Because although the wind is not good for surf fishing, it's only not good, in my opinion, because it's tougher for the angler to control their line, and it's tougher for the angler to therefore catch fish. Unless it's super windy and sometimes stormy, and it churns up the water and it makes it all mucky and just overly choppy, then that can definitely deter fish from biting, and they won't be able to see their prey as well. But this right now, super windy. I mean, I'd say it's gusts of 15 to 20 miles an hour right now. Maybe keep it at 15, maybe not 20 just now, but it's just on the water surface, so it's everything below right now. I mean, I'm seeing crystal clear, so fish are virtually unaffected by this type of wind. I mean, there are varying, say, upwelling could occur, and that could bring a bunch of cold water in here, but water's already 60 degrees and it's not going to get much colder in the shore, so if there are fish out there, there are fish out there, and they should not be deterred by just purely wind alone. And another thing you can do with wind is, one, if you find some spots with bluffs on either direction, and maybe you find like a cove, a protected spot, if you can find a spot where some sort of bluffs or walls protect your little cove and your little fishing spot from the wind, that's a good idea. The other thing, you can figure out which beaches face which direction, and if there's, and again, this is with land that comes out, or angles that are created by varying shoreline positions. But you can, like right now, the wind is, I'm looking west, and the wind is coming out of the north, blowing south. So I can't do a whole lot, but say I've got a fishing spot, or a little hole over there, and I think there is a little hole right there that I want to hit. I've got the ability to cast with the wind. It might give me a little bit of extra distance in my cast. And the other thing is, I'm retrieving now, not completely perpendicular to the wind, but beginning to retrieve more parallel with the wind, which won't affect the amount of bow and therefore slack that's put in the line. So that's another beneficial, or that's another little tip that could help you when you're surf fishing in the wind, or fishing in the wind in general. Here we are. Not bad. Not bad at all. Sand bass. Not a bad one either. Pretty fish, huh? There we are. There we are. That's got some weight. Oh, gosh. It's definitely ducking into all the rocks. Let's see what we got. Looks like a rockfish, maybe? Just gonna bring her back. Oh, that's a calico. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I guess it's not that fat, but good freaking fish, eh? That was great. Fantastic. I got nailed too. Ooh.